Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Everybody's hopping in. Let's see who comes in here. Good evening, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, Chandra.
Hi.
Whoops.
Hello, beautiful ladies. I'm just waiting for more people to come in. Hello,
Hey, Chandra.
Yesenia, Tisha, Rosalia, Magda, Erica, Danielle. Good evening. Good evening, good evening. Marissa, did I say hi? Marissa?
Yeah. No electricity, so I'm
I
in my
can't hear
car
you.
with my. Oh.
Are you on mute?
Oh.
You're not on mute. Something's going on with my sound. Give me a second because I was trying to play my music a second ago. You guys can hear me though, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if
Yes.
because you know this technology acts up on us sometimes. Doesn't want to work.
Marissa, they did your power. Is that part of the power outages or the power shutdowns?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Right. Headphones fixed it. Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. Can you
So
hear me, Chandra?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No.
couldn't hear
No
anything.
power. No power. But look, I found a way. It's called the.
Are you in your car?
Yeah. With a cigarette. The cigarette lighter. Got to charge it.
And
I'm like,
Marissa lives close to me, so I can't believe my power hasn't gone up.
you're lucky. Oh man.
You know, I would die. I'd probably be driving around San Jose trying to find somewhere to work with no Wi-Fi.
Oh my
I've
God.
been using my hotspot because our Wi-Fi has been weak. So I just use my hotspot on my phone. So I could do that too.
Yeah, no, you know what? It's okay. I'm not complaining. We have it good. I tell my kids, you have nothing to complain about.
Right. I'm a
70s
Yeah.
kid. You know, used to sleeping in hot, like, it was hot when I was growing up. I was like, you be happy. You learn. This is a good thing for you. To reminder how good you have it sometimes. Like, okay, Mom.
Right. I'm just waiting because okay, here come more people. We're just gonna give people a few minutes to get on since it's our first night, everybody. So let's just be patient, okay? Anybody have any questions while we're waiting for people to jump on? No, you guys are good. Okay. All right. Well, let's get ready to get our minds dumped. All that negative thought and mind cultures, customs, and ideas and thoughts that come into our heads that make us not take action, hold back, believing in ourselves, building our confidence, all that. Our mind is our foundation to success. It is the path. It is the gatekeeper, I would say, to our success. And I think some of you that know me and also know the work that you've done with mindset and changing your mindset, just a little bit of work that you've done, you know, it's made a huge difference in how you make moves, right? And a lot of people have come to me and have said, okay, Chandra, I just need a strategy. Just tell me, how do I have a successful business? How do I do A, B, C, and D? That's all I need to know. And give me that, and then I'm going to go. And what I always tell them is, okay, but I already know it's not going to happen because you have to have this right. No matter how confident you think you are, you have to have your mindset right when it comes to business and success and abundance and wealth and feeling worthy. And if this mind is not there, you will not get there. Okay? It will still block you. Even if you have all the books, all the readings, all the videos and trainings that you want, if you don't get your mind right, you will not accomplish the dreams and the destiny and the desire that you want for your life. So I think I'm waiting on a few more people. Hi, April, welcome. Good evening. Lakeisha, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We're just waiting on a few more people that I know should be here, and I'm gonna message a few.
I was gonna ask you, Chandra. Can you hear me? Is there like a syllabus or like kind of like what topics will be covered daily so we can brainstorm on questions if we want to think more about it, like, you know, as we sleep?
Did you watch the video, the welcome video?
No, I didn't.
Okay. The welcome video had the breakdown of the week,
Oh, okay.
but I can send you something so you have it.
Okay. And I'll watch it tonight too.
Yeah. So the video has the breakdown of the week. I don't really create, I mean, you could have a syllabus. It's just going to be paper in your hand and to make you go through what I'm already talking about that you can take your notes with. So I'm really more verbal. You'll have the videos to go through as well. You guys will have the recordings and access to the recordings.
Thank you.
Okay. But yeah,
Okay.
basically that's just how I roll. And how I've worked with other programs, I always know, like, if I can have a workbook, but sometimes I don't even use it. But maybe we can create something, okay? If that helps you with your learning. We'll talk about it at the end.
Okay. Thank you, Chandra.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. All right, who just joined? Leah and Melody, are you here? I think we're missing one more person and then we'll get started. There she is. Okay, I think we can get started. Sure. Hi, Melody. Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Magda, good evening. Okay, I think we're good to go. Oh, you got it, Mel. I just seen a message from you, Mel, right now. Sorry. Or was that for today? I'm not sure. Anyway, all right, ladies, welcome to Rewrite Your Mental Constitution. And I just want to remind you all that this is a pilot, okay? And when a pilot, what that means is that, like, we're testing it out, right? It is like the first of something that we're creating for Powerhouse Academy. And this is why it was cheap. Maybe in my eyes it's cheap because it's a lot of information that's really gonna help you break down the mind. And it's kind of the gateway to Powerhouse Academy. And this is something that everybody will have to go through before they start Powerhouse Academy, every cohort. Because what I realized is that even though I can give all the strategy, ideas, set them up for success, give them how to book speaking engagements, how to speak on stages, how to build successful business, how to sell, how to do all these things. If this is still not strong and the foundation is not built up, then it's hard to accomplish all of those strategies that I taught you, right? It's still like I have all these tools, but I can't do it. So you have all the wood, just say like a house is your big empire, your big business, your big dream. And the foundation and your mindset is the foundation of that house, that concrete, that brick that holds the house down. So you can have all the hammers, you can have the nails, you can have the windows, you can have everything. But if that foundation is not set, you will not get to that end goal to build your empire. And it's so important. This is why I created this program, a 5-day program, because it's that deep. I figured it out after kind of eight cohorts. I said, this is something that we have to incorporate if we want to make Powerhouse stronger. Okay. So it's so important because if you don't strengthen this, if you don't build it, you're not going to get to where you want to go, no matter how many notes and videos or anything that you watch. You have to develop this. Okay. So like I said, this is a pilot. All right, so a pilot is, we're still working out the kinks and making sure that it's gonna work the way we want it to work. All right, so bear with me as we go through this. I'm gonna be teaching you things that I've also just learned as well, because I developed with this with some of my psychologist friends, some of my mindset experts that helped me develop these 5 days. So understand that I might be teaching you something I have just learned myself, and that's something that I'm still working through. I just know for myself that mindset is every day. I have to do this every day. I have to make sure that I'm thinking in abundance, and I'm acting and walking and taking actions like a millionaire, because I want to become one, right? So I can't act like a thousandaire, right? I gotta make millionaire moves. I gotta make millionaire decisions, right? So what would a millionaire do, right? Just like what would Jesus do? What would a millionaire do when you're making decisions when it comes to your business? So I have to think like this constantly. I have to catch myself, right? And I've taught this catch and switch in the Powerhouse Academy, is to catch that negative thought, like maybe I should wait to start that business, right? Until I have $10,000 in the bank and I save $10,000, then I'll start that business. Rather than, you can start that business right now. You don't need $10,000. You can take action now, right? So those two thoughts are way different, but they're towards the same direction, right? One of them is going to stop you and prevent you from starting your business, or that action will take a whole year, and one of them can get you moving in the right direction to get you ahead of the game. So that's why those two, it's so important to be able to catch and switch up a thought very quickly. Okay, so I want to read something to you ladies really quickly, okay? And I want you to understand. And this is just the intro for this program. It's going to be edited and whatnot for the people that will be listening. So the Powerhouse Academy does not teach you get rich quick schemes. This is about you. You are the brand. We do not promise you something for nothing. However, I will promise you this: the women that will take this opportunity to take a deep look within themselves and do some real self-evaluation and find the courage to make the adjustments within their mindsets and comply with these teachings will be able to bring greater possibilities and opportunities for success into their lives. You are the key to your own success, and you are the authors of your own failures. Nature has hardwired you for success already, if we could only learn to get out of our own way, right? And at the end of the day, the only person in our way is ourselves. Sometimes we'll blame the husband, we'll blame the boyfriend, we'll blame the kids, we'll blame the job, we'll blame something. But it's usually us. And actually the only person that you can control in the situation is you, right? So you got to do the work within you, and that's part of being here, okay? So the next thing I want you to do, I'm going to walk you guys through a visualization activity, okay? This is called the Dream Life visualization. So I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to be watching you because my eyes are going to be open, so you close your eyes. Everybody have their eyes closed? All right. So I want you to take a deep breath. Take 3 deep breaths and just relax. If you're driving, then I'm sorry, just listen. I don't want you to crash. Take 3 deep breaths. And I want you to visualize yourself waking up in the morning. Okay? And remember, we're setting the tone. This is your dream life. This is your dream day. Okay? So just relax. Relax your body. Take some deep breaths in and deep breaths out. So you're laying in your bed, okay? And you're waking up. And I want you to think about the first thing that you do. What's the first thing that you do? Do you grab your phone? Do you get out of bed and put your workout clothes on and go work out in your home gym? Or do you have a personal trainer coming by? In your dream life, what do you see yourself waking up to? Is it the butler bringing you your coffee or your tea or your mocha or your, cappuccino? Okay, what do you see when you wake up? I want you to visualize this, okay? I also want you to think about the first thing you do when it comes to business. Are you calling your assistant? Are you booking a call? Are you, what are you doing? What is that first thing that you're doing for your business? Okay? So just think about that. Like, what does that feel like to you? Does it feel unreal? Does it feel possible? You're not rushing to get out of bed, to get dressed, to be clock in at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8:30 in the morning. What are you doing on your own time, right? With your own schedule that you created, okay? So I want you to take another couple deep breaths in and out. So you realize that you have to, after you do your workout or whatever, you realize that you have to go to the store or you have to go pick something up at the cleaners, your suits or your new Gucci outfit, or Prada outfit that you have, your nice new suit jacket. So you leave out of your house and you go to the driveway. And I want you to think about what car is sitting in that driveway. What does that car look like? Right? Is it a Lamborghini? Is it a Range Rover? Is it a G-Wagon? Is it a Porsche? What is that car that's sitting? If it's your dream car, the absolute dream car that you could have, what is in that driveway? Okay? And you get in that car and you drive to go pick up your clothes at the cleaners or go to the store, whatever you're going to do. You go do that, right? You come back home in the afternoon and your phone goes off and it pings. Ping, 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 ping. Some of you guys, if you have a business already, there's a special PayPal ping that I have when money's coming through, right? And that PayPal ping comes on, or that bank ping comes on. And you open your phone and you glance at your bank account or your PayPal statement. And I want you to think about the number that you want to see there. What is that number that will make you feel comfortable, make you feel proud, make you feel just like you've conquered the world or that you've did that thing that you never thought you could? What does that number look like? And as we're doing this, ladies, I want you to understand and pay attention to what your first instinct tells you. Sometimes your first instinct might give the low number, or it might have given you a car that is just, an okay car, right? Remember this, because this is how your mind is working still. And this is how we want our minds to grow. So I want you to be expanding your mind during this exercise and understand that. Look at that number, and that number is something to be proud of. What would that number look like to you? Okay? So you look at your balance, and because you've been doing so successful for several years already or months, you're like, oh, that's normal to see that amount of money in your PayPal account. So you walk in the house and your girlfriend calls you. Remember, you still haven't sat on a desk or or answering phones, and boss wasn't harassing you for a report or anything yet, right? Because you work for yourself. Nobody there to tap you on your shoulder or tell you you have to be at this meeting or this Zoom meeting like you do every day, all day long. So your phone rings and your girlfriend calls you and she tells you, hey, Yesenia, I got me and my husband, we're gonna go on a trip to Bora Bora. We wanna do a couples trip. Why don't you come with us? And instead of you being like, oh, I can't afford it. I got to save money. I don't have that money in the bank. I can't do it. You say, yes. Oh, that sounds fun. And you go directly to your laptop and you go book the flight and you book the trip without second guessing it, without overthinking it. You just do it. Why? Because you can. Because you have the freedom to. All right? So you book your trip to Bora Bora. You book your flights, right? And then you get a notification that in about 15 minutes you have your first client call, right? Your phone pings, you get ready, get your coffee, you get a little snack. You go to your little desk setup and wherever you have your beautiful desk and your workstation set up, and you take your client calls. Who is that client? What, and if you're doing a different type of business, that's fine. Just visualize what serving your first client or group of people, what that looks like to you. Where are you? What do they look like? How are you helping them? How are you utilizing your genius and your gift for them? How are you maximizing? How are you showing up for them fully? And realizing that you're showing up for them fully because you're living in your gift. Finally, you're not living for other people. You're not living in your zone of excellence. You're living in your zone of genius. So people are amazed on how you can help them. They are excited with the results that you've given them and how you treat them and what you're giving to them. They're happy. They're excited. Imagine how that makes you feel. When you're able to serve people at a high level and serve people, give them your full genius and your full greatness. Imagine what that looks like. Imagine what that would feel like. I can tell you how that feels like because that's what I do every day. That's how I feel. It doesn't feel like work. It just feels like I'm living in my gift and I'm able to share it with other people. That feeling is amazing. It's hard to describe, but I want you to imagine it because you all are capable and you all have it inside of you. Okay? So after you do a few client calls or you're working with a few clients, your mom calls or someone very special to you calls you and they tell you that they need to borrow some money. $5,000 to be exact. They want to borrow $5,000. And this person is somebody very significant to you, very special to you. Somebody that you've always wanted to help. And you just thought, if I had the opportunity to help this person because they've done so much for you, what you would do for them. If only you had the resources to help them. And she says, oh, honey, I need to, or I want to take this trip, or I want to buy this new purse, or I got to pay my rent, or I got to pay this bill, just this emergency that happened. And you're able to say, it's okay, I got you. It's okay. And you're able to send the money. And it's not, you don't even flinch. Because you can. Because you can. So I want you to take a deep breath, a few other deep breaths, so 2 to 3 deep breaths again. Okay. After you get off the phone with your mom or that special person and you text your assistant or whatever, or you click the button and you send that money off to that person. Okay? And then you have a team meeting. It's time to jump into your team meeting for the day because you got to plan out the rest of the month. Who is in your team? What does your team look like? Do you have a personal assistant, an executive assistant, a marketing team, a branding team? What does your team look like? Right? You're leading this meeting and you're delegating. So then you have more time on your hands to spend with your loved ones, to do the things that you want to do. This is all possible. This is not a fantasy. These are real lives. Real lives happen like this every day, especially in 2020. Anything is possible. But if until we get our mind wrapped around that these things are possible and get rid of some of these laws and customs that are inside our head that control us, we cannot get to a place like this. So I want you to take another deep breath, and I want you to open your eyes. Anybody want to share with me how they feel? What is that?
Can you hear me? This is Erica.
Yes.
I had to catch myself trying to minimize what I was like seeing for myself. So like with the bank account, like the bigger part of my mind, or the part that sees more for myself, was like the millions. But I was like, well, I'd be okay with a few 100,000. Or you know, the car, like you were saying, you know, Lamborghini or a Porsche. And I'm like, well, I'd be okay with like a really nice SUV. So I had to kind of push my mind outside of that to say, no, we're talking about like your dream life here.
Mm-hmm.
What if you could have anything? What would that look like?
Right. Yeah. And that's why I told you, and I kind of prompted you to catch your first thought and just pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because our thoughts right now are automatically going to go to less than what we desire, really, or what we think we deserve based on how we think about ourselves, or how we grew up, or how our mind culture, our mind customs, everything that is set in our head right now, it's going to automatically think that, right? Think lack, less than. So I'm glad you were able to catch that and understand that, and see now how you can catch other thoughts throughout your days, and when you're trying to move towards your goals, how you can catch that and switch it, right? To think more and abundantly, right? And I really want you guys to understand that I'm not here. It's not all about money, right? But I also want you to understand that money can be a wonderful thing. Money fuels politics. It fuels charities. It fuels the world, pretty much, right? Can't fix everything, but it almost can fix a lot of things, right? It can fix a lot of things. And we all want success. And with success comes wealth. It can become wealth. And it's okay. And I want everybody to understand that it's okay to want to be wealthy. Especially when you have a good heart. Especially when wanting that wealth comes with, I want to give it back to my community, right? I want to give it to charity. It's not all about, you know, things. Because when I created this exercise, I should have put, because that would have been my life, is going to be able to cut a check to charity, right? To buy a table at a dinner without second guessing, without, you know, being able to write a check to a foundation that we really love. This is all the freedoms that we would have if we were living really the life we desire. And the only thing that's in our way is us. Yes, ma'am. Marissa?
So, Chandra, thank you for doing this practice, or this session, or that you did right now, because I wanted to share something that I think it's pretty powerful. So, I did an exercise like this probably about 2 months ago, but it was a little different, where I was supposed to close my eyes, picture myself at the beach. And I gotta tell you, like, that time I couldn't even see myself there. Like I couldn't see myself there. And so, like, when you did the exercise now, I could even see what I was wearing. I could even see like what I could see. Like I could see out my window. I could see what I wanted to see out my window. I could see my car. I could see, and I think you're absolutely right, Chandra. It's like, if we have a destination that we want to go, how in the heck are we gonna know what it is if we can't even see it? So I think you're absolutely right. it's good for us to visualize. It's like the whole writing down your goals.
Mhm.
If you don't write them down and if you don't have them here, we're not going to be able to get there if we don't see them. So thank you for that, because it actually helped me to see how far I've grown in that, because I couldn't even see myself at all before. Like, that's sad. Like, I never stopped to like actually see myself. And right now that you did that, I went like, oh wow, I very powerful. So you're right.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, we have to visualize it, right? And we don't know where we're going. We have to have a destination. We have to be able to have a clear destination on where we're going. Does anybody else want to share something that maybe stood out that was significant?
Yeah, like Erica. This is Magda.
Hey, Magda, go ahead.
Yeah, just like Erica. I felt like when you're like, what are you doing when you're waking up? And I'm like, God, tending to my kids, right? And then you mentioned the butler. I'm like, butler? Yeah.
Nanny,
right?
Nanny is taking care of the kids in the morning while you wake up.
But I couldn't even think. Like, I couldn't think of anything. And then I finally, when you started to say, okay, are you drinking coffee? Like, what does your prayer look like?
Yeah.
But our beliefs are so limiting. It is so true. And then I'm like, why am I even visualizing this? Like, is this with my program, what I'm offering? Like, am I even able to make that type of money to become a millionaire?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, you're already having those limiting thoughts, right? We really minimize sometimes our businesses. Why can't our businesses be multi-million-dollar businesses? Why not? Every business was an idea. Every multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar business started with an idea from a person. So what makes you any different? Right? What makes you any different? None of us. The only difference is really, what I think, is the mind and what we believe and what resources they put into themselves to get there. Whether it was coaches, whether they did really strong mindset work, they exercise. There's a lot of things, right? Like the 7 habits of highly successful people. All of these things that we read, right, that sound good and we try to put into our daily practices. But we can say, I'm going to put that into our daily practices. But if your mind is still not right, you're not going to do it. Sounds good, but you're not going to do it. So we have to shake this up. We have to overthrow the government of our mind. That's why we call it mental constitution. We have to overthrow it and dump it out, right? And start it all over again. Just like the world right now wants to overthrow this government, right? We can absolutely overthrow our own mind government and what controls the laws in our mind. We can. The real government right now, I don't know about that, but I know what we can control is our mind now. All right. Anybody else want to share? I'd like to take one more if I possibly can before we move forward. Please don't be shy. Yes, Lakeisha?
I think what was interesting for me and what sometimes is the continual struggle. It's funny, I had a birthday last week and I have, you have all these milestones, right?
Yeah.
And you see them, but even though I do meditation and things like that every morning, what I find myself struggling with, especially in the last few months, is for every vision that you asked us to catch, it took maybe 3 different tries for me to see the one that I know I deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's almost like it was almost like chipping away.
Yeah.
At greatness.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? And having to tell yourself, over and over again, okay, yeah, you can have the Jeep because that's your dream car, but you're not allowing yourself to think beyond the fact that maybe instead of the Lamborghini, it's the Jeep and the Lamborghini, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that why I love this process so much is it's the opportunity to really chip away at not having to so much have the first and second and third try before you can actually get to see the person that is there.
Right, exactly.
That was really interesting for me because every time you said envision something, it took me literally 3 or 4 times to not settle. in my own. And that's crazy, because really quickly here, that's crazy because you don't have any boundaries in what you actually do. There's zero boundaries, and automatically you say, what's the first thing I do when I wake up? Prepare to serve someone else.
Right, yes.
You go and accept their capital for you, their quotas for you. So it was just really interesting for me.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you, Lakeisha. That was a great point about chipping away, right? And that's what we're going to do all week, is chip away these thoughts and these mind laws that are in our heads. We won't be 100% fixed. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay, because I got silent, or I don't hear anything. Maybe because you put your thing on, your microphone on mute. But we're chipping away every day on something. So thank you so much for that. Okay, thank you so much. So let me dive into what we're going to talk about today. Any questions before we move forward? You guys good? All right. Let me pull up. All right, so I did a little intro for you guys already, and we did our dream life visualizations. But I also want to talk to you about how thoughts are things. Just like I mentioned, right, that every thought or idea that anybody came up with in this world started with a thought, right? Any business, any successful anything started by an idea and a thought. Somebody thought about it, right? And they turn into something, right? So the power of that. So I want to talk about that a little bit. And I'm going to take you out. You guys could write this. You could screenshot it if you like. It's up to you. You guys will get a summary of everything by tomorrow, or that we'll post this. We'll post every slide in the group along with the video. If you miss it, or if somebody you know is supposed to be here and they miss it, just let them know. It'll be in the Facebook group. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure you join the Facebook group that was sent to you by email. Did everybody get that? Did anybody not get it? So I know, and we can double check on why you did not receive it.
I only got the email for the Zoom information.
Okay. Right after that one, she sent. So just look behind it, but we'll make sure you get that.
Okay.
Okay. Because it was like back to back. So, you know, if you have Gmail, sometimes you don't catch that other email that comes from somebody. It could get lost in the feed. So, okay. So we're going to talk about thoughts are things. All right. So let me dive into that really quick. But first I want to talk about, actually, before we do thoughts or things, and I have my agenda a little screwed up, but about planting seeds and how we plant seeds and how seeds are planted. Thought seeds are planted in our head and have been planted in our head from the time we were children, right? So I want you to think about this, okay? Are any of you familiar with mental law? Have you ever heard about it before this? Before we put it out there, right? We don't even realize that our minds are so controlled in customs and cultures and things that have been engraved and planted inside of us, just like seeds, right? Just like seeds are planted. So let me see if I can make this a little bit more simple and understand as possible. If I were to plant an apple seed into the soil, what kind of fruit tree would eventually appear? An apple tree, right? Right, an apple tree. Do you believe that we could trust Mother Nature to give us the exact kind of tree as the seed we planted? Yes, right? How many of you think that there's a chance that if we planted, say, an orange tree, how many of you believe that there's a chance that an apple tree could appear? We're kind of like, no, I don't think so, right? I don't think that could possibly happen, right? So you're pretty confident in that, right? You're pretty confident that if you plant an apple tree, apple seeds, the apple's going to tree. If you plant an orange tree is going to appear, right? So in fact, if someone told you that it was possible to plant an orange seed into the soil to produce an apple tree, you would think that they were crazy, right? How many would say you would think they're crazy, right? None of you are right. There is a certain surety in the way things work in the universe that we live in. It gives us guarantees and assurances, and once we are made aware of them, it gives us stability and confidence in the results we are to expect. Those expectations that we are absolutely positive will be the result, such as, in my example with the apple seed, is called faith. Faith isn't wishful thinking or mere hoping for a certain result. Faith is knowing that if I take an apple seed and plant it into the soil, I will absolutely, positively receive an apple tree. That's not hoping, wishing, or magic. That's law. A universal law that will give you an exact return on your investment. But the thing is, what happens is we have all these seeds and we think they're laws, right? These seeds are laws to us. These seeds that have been planted in our heads are laws to us. And so it's going to happen. That's just the way it works. I've seen it. It's happened all the time. It's happened to my mom. It happened to this person. I've seen it on TV. I just know, right? We think we know, right? But these are seeds that have been planted inside of us since we were children, right? So how do we nurture the seed, right? With our own nutrients, right? With our own waters, with the right soil to develop into something different, all right? So remember when I mentioned thoughts are things. Have you ever heard of that, right? Have you ever heard thoughts are things other than what I just said a few minutes ago? But some of you may ask is that, well, everything that you see around you in your home was once a thought, right? It was once a mere seed or an idea in some inventor's head. Each and every one of your favorite dishes was once an idea in a chef's head, right, Tisha? Every dish, right, that we eat was created by a chef or somebody that had a unique creative idea. Oh, I'm going to make some pasta and tomato sauce and, make a spaghetti. Like, that was an idea, right? The things that we see are in the exact likeness of the thought seed or idea that gave them life in the person's mind. That again is law. That what appears in the same in likeness, nature, and kind as the seed, right? That gave it its life and design. So let's go a little further with this phenomenal truth. How many of you can agree that certain ideas can produce a negative result that have the same source of power behind it that produces everything else, right? So if we concede and have and create great ideas like a business, right? Or a dish that a chef created, or things in our house, or the printer. Like, I'm looking at the printer, I'm looking at a ring light, I'm looking at blinds. That was all ideas, right? So the same power that it took to create these things and for those people to go, the inventors, to go push and take action to get it done, they might have went through 10 patents before they got it done. They might have had 500 people tell them they couldn't do it. How much brain power, how much mind power it had to take in order to keep them going. So I want you to understand how negative thoughts, right, can result in the same source, can result in you not taking action and you staying small. Same type of power. Same type of power that it takes to be successful, for people to invent massive and huge ideas and things. That negativity that we don't even know is there is weighing us down and not letting us live fully and create the things that we've always desired. So can we agree that if we were to plant poison ivy bush, the results of that could cause me some suffering and discomfort, right? If you were to come in contact with it. Could it possibly do anything else, right? Is that not the nature of that particular bush, right? We know if we plant a poison ivy, if we brush by it, we're going to get poison ivy. Is that not why we avoid coming in contact with it, right? We avoid coming in contact with it. It's uncomfortable. It's going to itch. With that knowledge, we do our best not to interact with that bush of that kind. Those particular results are not within the experience we would like to have for ourselves. Simple. Yet and still, we do not apply the same type of understanding and precaution when it comes to the nature of our thoughts that we devote so much of our time and energy to. We don't put time into that, right? We don't really focus on that. But we would if we were planting a poison ivy. We'd be careful. We watch. We would like, you know, I'm not going to touch it because it's gonna make me itch. Are you focusing your thoughts? Are you planting these seeds to be able to nurture them and grow, right? And understand that whatever you plant, whatever you say, whatever you put out into the universe, how you act, what the actions you take are going to create something positive and not something negative, right? So with that knowledge, we do our best to not interact with the bush, right? Yet and still, we do not apply the same understanding, like I mentioned. Many of us have a surplus of the wrong kind of mental seed, some more than others, right? Some more than others, depending on how we grew up. And we'll talk about the mind culture in a little bit, how we grew up in our home and how we, all these other things, right? So our thoughts are a mental manifestation in likeness and kind to the sort of ideas that we have about our life and ourselves. Everything for that matter. Those ideas are the groundwork or blueprint of everything that we think and perceive as true. It is in these accepted ideas that we have put our faith in. We put our faith in all these ideas that have been planted in our heads. And it is this perceived inner truth that forms the basis of our mental constitution. It is this mental constitution that is the basis of our own self-government. All of these seeds that have been planted, all of these apple trees and orange trees and and remember, they all have branches, right? So you have seeds and then branches that have been built on other things that you've learned as you've come up in life. Are you guys following me? Any questions or comments or aha moments that you're having when we're talking about this stuff?
This is good stuff.
Who is that? Tisha?
Tisha, yeah.
You just said that because I referenced a chef, huh?
No, well, since you mentioned it. But you know what? Honestly, some of these, a lot of these things I kind of knew already, but crap happens, and sometimes your thought process, even though you think, oh, I got this, certain circumstances in life will cause you to forget that, and then the switch, the catch and switch thing, happens. And you don't even realize it. So that's kind of where I am. Like, oh shoot, I need to catch that.
More, right? You need to catch it more.
I need to catch it more and be more consistent, and not even and remember that this is I've got this goal.
Yeah.
Onto that trap, because it's really easy to do.
Right, and I think that, like with you, Tisha, I think you've really done a lot of good work with that, because, and even though I don't know, I'm not in your head, but I'm still your coach, and I still watch all of you all the time. Yes. And I can see, even you, Marissa, even you, Magda, I would say, like the growth, right, in your mindset and the actions that follow along with it. Right? Even I'm looking at the beautiful Erica too. I'm telling you, the actions that follow once you're able to learn how to control your mind and your thoughts a little bit more, you're able to take action, right? And I see it, right? I see you guys taking action when, I know you guys are doing the catch and switch. You're like, oh no, what would Chandra say? Or what would Chandra do? I better do it because I already know, right? So you're catching and switching. So it's daily actions every day. It's daily practice. We are building muscle. This is like we're changing our whole body, but we're changing our mind, right? We're changing our physical mind, right? To stop thinking the way it's been thinking. And a lot of us have no idea that's even there. None of us even knew that we had a mental law. I didn't even know right? Till I started doing more work. When I started digging a little bit more and saying, oh, why aren't some of these women accomplishing or doing the things that I need them to do and I'm telling them to do? Why aren't they doing it? And I'm freaking out, you know, and I'm like, get so frustrated because I want my clients to be successful, right? That's the end goal. I want them to have a successful business. But there was something holding them back. There was something holding, it wasn't time, it wasn't money. And I was beating myself up about it. And I realized that it was mindset at the end of the day. Because I realized that that's what was holding me back. Because this is all personal too. I deal with this every day. So I know personally that it's a struggle. I might be a little ahead of some people, but even some of the most successful people are dealing with mindset junk. And I've heard other people, I've talked to successful CEOs and entrepreneurs that, you know, are telling me like they still feel, you know, they still struggle with doubt. They still struggle with fear. They still struggle with the seeds that have been planted as a young child that prevents them from going to the next level or doing certain things, whatever it is. It doesn't have to necessarily always be business, right? It could be relationships. It could be personal relationships with their children. It could be all kinds of different things that hold them back from living the life they desire. And that's a happy life, family, work, right? Self-care, how you're taking care of yourself, everything. So great. Those are some good self-reflections. Okay. So next thing I want to talk about is, oops, wrong thing.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yes, please.
So my husband always tells me, because I'm very much like my mom, and my mom is very limiting, and she's very scared about everything. She can't make a decision ever. And I was telling you earlier today that I'm a pessimist.
Mm-hmm.
That's because my mom is a pessimist and I don't know any better, right?
Yeah.
And so when my husband has approached me about ideas, I'm like, no, well, what if that happens? No, well, what if, you know, but it's always a no, it's always a negative. And I don't blame my parents for having the mindset that they have, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, I love the fact that you're doing this with all these women, because we do need to break this
cycle
law, because it doesn't help us. And because I'm sure many of us have children, we're going to, you know, pass this on to our children, and we don't want to. Like, I don't want to, for sure. But again, it's so funny because my husband's like, you're just like your mom, and it's true. And I think about, you're just like your mom, and yeah, the mentality is just like my mom's. And I'm like, remind me not to be like my mom when I'm age. I'm really like my mom.
I know we all say that, right? We don't want to turn into our moms and we start sounding like our moms, saying the same things like our moms, and really acting like them.
It's interesting because I think men view us differently than we view ourselves, and he is right in that aspect. So I just wanted to chime in.
Yeah, people on the outside can definitely see things and will say, no, I'm not. I'm nothing like her. But like, you are so much like her. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but I mean about the mental, you know, if you grew up with a positive mom, you're probably a positive person. But if you grew up with a negative, you know, a mom who's negative or pessimist or whatever, then you are more than likely that way too. So, yeah, and it's good that we catch it, right, like you said, and so that we don't continue the cycle. But it's a cycle. We have to break cycles, right? If we want our kids to live a better life than us, we have to break the cycle, and we have to catch this stuff before it's too late. And sometimes it's too late for certain people.
Really quickly, Chandra, this is Erica. What I found is helping me, because I do get in my own head a lot, is changing the circle of people that I associate with.
Mm-hmm.
So now I associate and I'm closer to people that are in alignment with how I want to live my life, how I want to think. Because sometimes when my mind isn't there and I'm not really having a strong day with my mental capacity in that way, I often have to borrow it from the people in my circle. Yeah. And sometimes I need that, like, you know, I'm just like in my head today, and they're like, no, you got this. And so, you know, no man is an island. I mean, the inner work, definitely no one else can do for you. But at the same time, like, just being connected to other people
Mhm.
that are on the same journey and in alignment with what you see for yourself is helping you.
Right. Right. Exactly. It
I
is.
agree.
You got to keep that circle strong. Mia, I'm sorry. Mia raised her hand, and then whoever was trying to chime in, you could come right in after. Mia, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say, as far as mindset for me, I feel like, I don't know if I said it before, but going from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset, you know, for all these years, I've been good at doing what I was told to do and even maybe incorporating some new things, but I've always had it where it was structured before, whereas when you talk about building your own business, then you have to have all that structure yourself put in place. And, you know, I've never had to do it from the ground up. So that's a different mindset also.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why I wanted you to imagine it, right? I wanted you to imagine that there are no rules, actually, right? We think that we have to structure a business like our job or something. We don't, right? You don't have to wake up at a certain time and wake up whenever I feel like it. I can set my first meeting at 1 o'clock if I want to. I can go hike for the day if I want to. I can go do whatever I want and know that you are the captain of your own ship, right? But sometimes we feel, oh, I got to do it this way. I got to do it this way. You don't have to. You don't have to. So definitely, this is going to help you shift that, Mia. It's going to help you shift from an employee mindset to a entrepreneur and CEO mindset, and understand that you control your destiny and nobody else. Yesenia, you have a comment?
Yeah, something that I wanted to share with for my situation is where I did the opposite. I went from an entrepreneur mindset at a young age, and because I kind of came across a couple of obstacles. Then I went into an employee mindset because I convinced myself that I didn't have it in me to be successful. Yet the ideas, goals, and dreams have always burned really deep down in me. Like at 22 years old, I was an owner builder and finished the project in 6 months. Then I started a property preservation company, and I learned the business from just working for a company for 2 weeks. So I've been able to accomplish things that to others it might be like impossible. But my biggest mistake is like what you said at the beginning. I am simply the author of my own failures. So I have jeopardized it. I have pretty much maybe not invested the right time to take care of my mind or in coaching, and I have failed. And what did I do? I just accepted I'm an employee. And when I went to work for like companies, they would tell me how much potential I have, how much I can get far. You know, they would cater to me because of how I was making them grow. And then I would think there and say, what the heck am I doing? I am making them grow when I have all this potential to do this for myself. And when I cut my ties with, you know, in this case, one employer I was with that would, you know, treat me good. I mean, paid for my cars, paid for my gas, gave me a good salary. I mean, I had all the flexibility of the time I wanted to come in and leave and so forth. But I finally said, I'm never going to grow doing this. And when I cut my ties, I really offended him. But I think that the reason was because he figured she's a gold mine. As long as I keep her, you know, somewhat happy, she's never going to think she's worthy of doing it on her own. That was my problem, my mindset.
Yeah.
That I believed, and I took the acceptance, I'm an employee. And this is where I guess I need the help, Chandra. This is where I think I just realized right now, my problem is learning how to break that and just going back to that old me, and this time doing it the right way.
So what do you think shifted that? What was that shift that?
What Erica said. The shift was, first of all, the people I'm around, I was stuck in a very just miserable, abusive relationship. I finally broke free. And then I barely started coming around people that are business minded. I barely started looking for people that are, you know, positive, inspirational, you know, self-development, business minded. And yes, do I still struggle with major insecurities and doubts? Of course, because it's so hard to break those addictions you go back to. But when I look back on my past, I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I've accomplished things that many people will never in their lifetime get to experience what, you know, being an owner builder is without, you know, you having construction experience or you actually finishing the project with a 6-month turnaround. Otherwise, the bank takes your project from you because of all the fees and debt you're going to be, you know, tied down to. So I'm like, I have to really focus on those things and say, seriously, I need to like talk to Chandra and get my shit together and stop spending all this money in this self-development program and this self-development program, and realize that the freaking issue is my damn mindset.
Yeah.
You know, I am
Right.
the author of my failures. I am the one causing these setbacks for myself. I am stuck with that old, you know, victim mentality while I was living 12 years of being put down and being told the opposite of what Magda said. Her husband tells her, she's like her mom. My husband would tell me, like, don't do that. Stay there. Like, I know you just thought about another idea, but no, stay stuck here. You're a home wife. That's where you belong. I have ideas after ideas after ideas, and I, you know, can't sleep, and I have all these things running in my head, but yet I shut myself down at the end. I'm like, no, you can't do this. You're an employee.
Yeah.
You're an employee. Go back to your employee corner.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we get PTSD by the experiences that we have
Exactly.
too, right? And it's hard for us to come out of that, right? And we'll talk more about that on another day. But it's just our memories and things that have happened to us in the past. I was just talking to a client today, and she is around 50 years old, and she at 39, she decided to leave her corporate job. So a little backstory: she's leaving her corporate job right now, but in 3 weeks, and she's going full-time entrepreneurship. But at 39, she tried to do it, and she left her job, went to New York, and was like, I'm gonna be an artist. I'm gonna do this in New York. And she said, I had no plan. I had no direction. I didn't even know anything. I got an abusive relationship, and it was just a mess. She's like, I came back home from New York with bad credit, in debt, left abusive relationship, had nothing to my name. So her now leaving to full-time entrepreneurship is scary, and it holds her back from taking action, because she's like, what if that happens again when I went to New York and it wasn't successful? So it holds her back, right? And what you're doing to yourself, you're saying, you're thinking about, well, what if, that he's right of what he was saying. I need to focus on one thing and not start another, or not do this and not do that. Right? We still have a lot of that inside of us, and we gotta let it go, right? We have to be able to do the healing. We have to be able to do the empowerment work. We have to do the mindset work to get that out of us and to change it. Because if we keep it, we're gonna stay the same, right? We're gonna stay the same as we are. Not saying that anything is wrong with all of us, right? But you're all here for a reason. You all decided to join this because you're ambitious and you want more for yourself. Right? You don't want to be mediocre. You know that there's something special inside of you that is festering, that has been there for a long time, and you need help nurturing that seed and building it up to its fullest potential. That's why you're here, right? So thank you, Yesenia, for that. Thank you, everybody, for your input. This is really helpful in making me understand how we're going to continue to work this program and make it the best it can be. Anybody else before I move? Yeah, Lakeisha?
Can I ask a quick question?
Uh-huh.
So I think when I like listen to everyone speaking, and then we're talking about the seeds that are being planted. I don't know if anybody else struggles with this. So you talk about how you have, your mom, the influence of our parents. And do you find, or does anyone else find, that they feel like at times that they are kind of living off of the harvest that was planted before them? Whether it was really for them or not, you're kind of living off of this harvest that was like planted before you, and it fills you up, right? But it's nothing that you like. It's almost like eating out of a garden, and you have nothing in that garden that looks like you, or that you would want to taste, or that you would want to eat, but it fills you up, and you're just kind of living up. And that's kind of what I get when I start hearing you talk about that, and I was hearing everyone else talk about it. It was kind of like this aha moment where it's like, for me, it's like, man, I'm close to certain family members, especially like my mom, right? And I'm kind of in her garden.
Yeah.
As kind of with this residual effect of being her child.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even anything that I really like.
Well, that's telling you that you desire more, right? And you're
but I never even I didn't think about it until I'm kind of sitting and listening, and how many of us are really, sitting and reaping these harvests from these gardens that have been planted by our husbands,
Mm.
you know, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our father, whatever it is, our grandparents, and it goes from one generation to the next generation. And it could be a garden. I didn't even think it could be a harvest that is full of failure.
Yeah, and it's
You know, good ideas.
right. It's giving us nutrients, keeping us alive, but it's not necessarily where we want to be, right? It's not necessarily the garden that we see and we're like, oh yeah, I like that fruit or that vegetable. It's kind of like, oh, that'll sustain me and fix my hunger pain, right? Enough
Yeah.
to get me by.
It's crazy to me that it just like,
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I definitely get, and that's what we're going to talk about right now is mind culture. Was there anybody else? Because I had a paper over here. Oh, Leah. Yes.
Yeah,
I love
just
it.
real quick.
Yes.
First, I totally related to, is your name Lakeisha? It says L, so I can't.
Yeah.
I actually moved from Alabama to California. That was one of the drivers, was that I needed to be away from my family. As much as I love them and I love to visit them, but their influence on me, they're very fearful. And so I wanted to be able to expand, and being around them, it was just, I knew that I would stay small and wouldn't be able to take any risks, because they will immediately come to you and tell you all the things that you might encounter as a result of wanting to do something. So I totally get it. And it was stuff I didn't want. I love them, but I just can't, I can't live in that world with them. But the other thing is, as we were all talking and I'm listening, is that I'm realizing that I have spent, my career has always been in administrative assistance. Like I was an executive assistant, and now I'm a project assistant. I'm always lifting somebody else up, and I'm realizing that that's one of the things that stops me from going forward, is that I put together all the stuff, but then I'm like, I have no one to hand it off to run with it. That I am the person that's supposed to be running the ball, but I don't know how to get there, because I'm always the person who puts the stuff together and somebody else takes the next leg. And I'm realizing that's a big block for me, that I live in an assistant role.
Yeah, that's a good aha moment for you.
Can I chime in on that real quick?
Who is that?
It's Tisha.
Oh, yes, please.
So Leah is your name? So
Yeah,
I'm too. I still work a corporate job in a support role as well. And I can totally relate. Completely, like, I need a Tisha, you know, that kind of stuff. I need a Tisha to help me out. But I don't know if you're working with Chandra. She definitely was like, you need to get a team. You need to, you know, eventually resource that out. So I've just recently started relinquishing. And honestly, it comes down to like a control issue. And I'm not going to lie, I have some control issues. So eventually, you're going to have to, and it's very freeing. I'm going to tell you right now, it's very liberating. I'm slowly right now just like, oh, okay, this person can, you know, create that document for me. Oh, I can, you know, get this person. So I get it. I completely get it. It's going to take probably a little bit of time for you to relinquish, just because of control issues. So, yeah.
Control, control, and then also, Leah, I think it's, I've seen this before too, where, you know, we are very highly skilled, but we assist everybody else. And I don't know if you mind, Erica, but I am going to pick on you a little bit because I love her to death. But Erica is like that too, right? Erica, she's brilliant. You're brilliant, but you help. Sometimes we help everybody else with their projects, right?
Yes.
And we help them do these things. But it's really a block within us because we won't do it for ourselves. We can do it for everybody else. We can help them, right? We're really good at it. But when it comes to our own, right, we don't do it. There's still a block there, I think, of fear. If I did it for them, that's safe because they got to take the repercussions if it doesn't work, right? I don't. But, you know, you're still in the background. Like, they don't know that I help with that project. So I'm going to sit back here. They have to get the negative, whatever feedback or whatever. It's not yours, right? So I think getting help with that and understanding your brilliance and understanding that you definitely, if you can do it for everybody else, why can't you do it for yourself, right? And also being able to live in fear. And I mean, we have to take action in fear every day. We have to, because we just never know what's on the other side of that door. When I walk out of this room, you just never know. So you have to take action. You have to keep moving, but you have to be able to understand that the only thing that grows is really out of fear, right? And taking action. That's the only time you're really going to get things that really work and really grow is when you do it on the edge of fear. You have to, right? You have to. So, hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. I know you had a
Hi,
meeting,
good
so
evening.
I'm glad you're able to pop in.
Yay. Hello, everybody.
Yes. Who wanted to say something? April, did you want to say something? I can't hear you. Oh, you're on mute, huh? You're on mute.
Sorry, I wanted to comment on the family toxic relationships and breaking patterns. That is something I'm going through too. I lost my hearing when I was around 25 years old, and my family members told me I would never succeed. They told me I would probably collect welfare, you know, be a single mom, have a bunch of kids. I made it through grad school, and I never really listened to them. You know, I thought, you know, just because I have a hearing loss, it doesn't mean I have to sit around and just work. And that's exactly what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to stay home, pay bills, or work, not go to school. And they wanted me to believe that my disability was something that was supposed to hold me back. You know, I was a special person in the family. But then I had to realize that their toxicness kept me down for a long time and many years. And today I still go through it. I set boundaries with them. I tell them not to visit me. I tell them, like right now, they were just calling me. I told them, do not call me. I'm on this phone call. You know, now they need me. They ask me for money. So, I mean, it's okay to tell people no, and it's okay to set boundaries. It's very important, especially when you have your own goals.
Right, exactly. Especially when you're in growth, you have to set some strong boundaries and not spend time with those people because we don't realize that they will keep us down from moving forward. So thank you, April. Anybody else that we haven't
Chandra,
heard from?
Well, Chandra, I do want to add something. I know you've heard from me, but I'm gonna say it anyways.
Okay, go ahead.
I got cut off and I was freaking out because I really had something I wanted to say. Erica mentioned about the people that we surround ourselves with. I just got the end of what the young lady said beforehand about, you know, there's people who are going to hinder our growth and will not be supportive of our goals. And I personally have gone through that, like this whole pandemic even beforehand. And I will tell you, there's nothing so wonderful as getting rid, and I say it very, very happily, getting rid of people who will not, that are standing in the way of what you want to do. And there's something so wonderful as being able to be around individuals that think like you, and like, or that are maybe even think as entrepreneurs, or as, you know, strong women who have these goals, their experience, like to be able to sit down and have a conversation with them about what you're going through, and not so much as to like drama. It's more like, okay, so what did you do about this, or how do you, it's like, it's just wonderful to have a nice network of women who you can talk to and are like-minded. So kudos to Erica for saying that, because I agree. And then also, I didn't catch the name of the lady beforehand, but you're right. It's okay to say no. It's actually, feels wonderful to say no. It feels like it feels like
I can't come over. Right, I can't come over. Sorry, you can't come over.
Exactly.
But you know, when you grow and when you start putting yourself around circles of women that are ambitious, that have goals and dreams, all of my conversations now are all about business and about the next idea, about the, you know, like the next project or how we're going to collaborate. That's all my conversations every day. Like, I've been able to expand and eliminate. And I couldn't even tell you how I did it or who I got rid of exactly. But now that's all who, you know, my circle is. That's who I talk to every day. So all, you know, it's nothing negative. I've really been able to eliminate that naturally. But we're going to jump into this part because it has to do with what we're just saying, and that's the mind culture, right? And that comes from who we are, our gender, our family, our race, our religion, okay? So the mind culture, you know, are the mental ideas that we accept as true based on our gender, our ethnicities, our family beliefs, religious beliefs, financial status, and outside suggestions, right? We develop a certain way of thinking because we're Black or Latino or Asian. If we were poor or grew up with money, but be man or woman are also creatures of habit and observation, right? That which we see over and over again becomes accepted as true in our minds, and it determines the things we sympathize with. So mind culture villainizes entire groups of people, takes on the injustices of an entire race as its own, determines who is for us and who is against us without a single meeting or actual offense, and without any consideration whatsoever of any other possibilities or exceptions to the rule. We accept all these ideas as the truth about ourselves, the people, and the world we live in. Our mind culture begins its first stage of development at the home, where we accept our first ideas about who we are and the way things are supposed to be. Our next idea about who we are and how things are supposed to be come from our neighborhood and the conditions of the people who live there. And then, of course, the good old television without any knowledge of the great world beyond and the possibilities of the life and achievement we develop. Our first idea about who we are, and we form limits, barriers, prejudices, supposed enemies. Some are real and some are not so real, right? We accept these things as true and begin to form a certain way of thinking and seeing the outside world around us. We mentally relate ourselves to the world from the particular mental identity of who we believe we are, right? But what does that make this mental perception true? Suppose it's only partly true or not true at all. We come into contact with mind culture when a person automatically thinks that all Black people like basketball and dancing, or all Mexican people love lowriders and are connected to the cartel. We witness mind culture at work when we talk to a kid that hasn't even explored his talents and gifts, along with all the achievements and success those gifts could bring into his experience, already believing with heartfelt passion that he's destined to fail because Black lives don't matter, right? So based on how we grew up, who we grew up around, our neighborhood, right? Things that are from the TV can really affect who we are and how we take action and how we think of ourselves, right? Especially as being people of color, and I think we all are here, right? And we all can say that something about who we are has given us self-doubt in what we can accomplish based on what we've seen in our surroundings, based on what we think of ourselves as less than, right? I know I can get very uncomfortable if I'm in a certain circle or if I'm at a place where it has a whole lot of white people. Like, I feel out of place. I feel like I'm not supposed to be there. I feel like everybody's looking at me. I feel less than, automatically. And I'm sure some of you can relate to that, right? It's the culture that we've been engraved in our heads. So I want you all to understand that some of these thoughts that we have, it's because it's part of our culture. It's part of what we know. It's been since birth engraved in our minds. So now that we know and we're more aware, we can control that a little bit more, right? And chip away, like Lakeisha was saying earlier, chip away at these thoughts and these feelings about ourselves and understand, right? Although we can see the negative, also seeing the positive, right? We're seeing the LeBron James, we're seeing the Oprah Winfrey, Michelle Obama, the Obama. We're seeing people, Jennifer Lopez, we're just seeing people that can accomplish these things that look like us, right? That we can relate to, that it is possible. But it's still only on TV because it's really not in our immediate circles. Like, that's for them. They can do that. I've never really seen it in person. So it's just really kind of hard to reach. But if they're human just like you, they grew up with some challenges just like you, just like all of us. What did they do differently? How did they continue? What help did they get? And I always like to use this as an example. Some of the most successful people have gotten coaches, have gotten support to move them in the right direction, right? Have moved them, like, tell them what to do, get up and exercise, do this exercise, do this play, do this, do that, to help you get to that next level. We all try to do it ourselves, and that could be part of our mind culture too. Like, if we grew up with a single mom, or we've been a single mom, I got this, I can do it myself, I can figure it out. Let me YouTube it, let me figure it out, I got it. Right? And we think we can figure it out ourselves. And we all need help to get to that next level. We all need we all need some self-development. We need to understand that we have mind culture, that we have mind customs, we have mental law that holds us back from moving forward. And when we know better, we do better. When we know better, we do better. So it's time to do better because you all know better, right? We all know better now. So we have to be able to move forward when it comes to taking action on our business. What is holding you all back from making that next move, from making that phone call, from doing that email, right? From investing in yourself at higher levels to get to where you want to go? What is holding you back is that thought of, oh, I just can't, I can't see myself investing that much money right now. Okay, and this is what I had to start thinking when I said, when I had to drop $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 on coaching or something. I was like, okay, well, if I drop $5,000 to $6,000 and that person helps me generate $100,000, what is that $5,000 at the end of the day, right? If it could get me to the level to make it the income that I really want and to live the life that I really want, what is $5,000 at the end of the day? 5,000 is nothing to really live the life that you desire, right? Or $10,000, whatever that is. And this is a mindset that we have to live in abundance and thinking in abundance and not thinking in lack. And a lot of us think in lack. We're more thinking about saving than spending and investing. Hoard our money, hold on to it tightly, right? And protecting it. So anybody, we have about a few more minutes. I wasn't able to cover everything, so I'll just move it into tomorrow or another day. We were going to talk about mind custom, right, and mental atmosphere, right, and how we act. Like I was talking about earlier, is what would a millionaire do? And I want you to think about that. Like, how would a millionaire act, right? What decisions would a millionaire make, right? Would he make that decision to buy that thing, to do that thing, to have a partnership, to start that business, to make that investment in a business or in themselves? Start acting, make millionaire moves, right? Taking action instead of living in fear and living in the what if. All right, what would Jesus do? What would a millionaire do? Yes, Yesenia. Yes, what would a millionaire do? I'm gonna make bracelets. I'm gonna have all bracelets or a tattoo.
I'll take the bracelet.
You'll take the bracelet, not a tattoo. You don't want a powerhouse tattoo like Shireen?
Shireen.
Shireen wants a powerhouse
I'm done for tattoo for sure.
Like a branding, powerhouse branding. But does anybody have any questions when it comes to your business and how, maybe some self-reflection for today? Because I do want to talk about business and how we tie this into our businesses and growing our businesses. This is directly related, right? All of this stuff that we're chipping off and we are developing is going to help us move forward. Or just some revelation on what you're going to do tomorrow because of what you learned tonight. Anybody want to share? I would like to, hold on, I would like to hear from somebody I haven't heard yet. I don't even know who is speaking right now, I'm sorry. But I would like to hear maybe from Danielle or Rosalia, and just know that I will pick on you if I don't hear from you. Even Melody, I haven't heard from you three. I will come for you, okay? I will, I promise you, because I want to hear what you're thinking. Anybody, Danielle? I see you.
Hey, Miss Shawn. Hey,
Hi.
guys. Hi, everybody. I wanted to speak earlier, but I was letting everybody speak because every time somebody spoke, it was like, yep, that's
They got
me.
it?
Yep, that's me. Yeah. But what's sticking with me, and it's very recent, is I am in the corporate world, and I've been on a huge project up to the CEO level. My work has made it to the CEO level. My work, my project. But I have a coworker who likes to just comes in, and she's my partner, but she doesn't do the work. And she took literally all the credit. And it's fine because I'm the one to be like, okay, fine, take it. We're not getting paid for it. We're not getting a bonus. You're not going to get a promotion. But that was my moment. It was last week. And I said, you know what? That's it. No more walking on me for my expertise, for my knowledge. There's a price. And that's when I decided that's it. You know, I'll continue to do my work because, you know, right now that's paying the bills and it's getting where I need to be. But there's no more. no more taking advantage of my knowledge and my gifts to their company, because they're gonna take this, and they're gonna make not millions, they're gonna make billions. And I'm like, hello, I can't even get a raise, and it's like, okay, I gotta fix this. But I also want to come. Anybody who knows me from years past will know I'm a single mom, a young single mom. I have 5 kids, 2 grandkids, and when I had my first, it was, this is the life you chose. You will never be. You're going to go down this path. You were supposed to go to college. And that stuck in my mind. You have to provide for your kids. You have to provide for your kids. You got to. And so I've always had 1 or 2 jobs. And I did good for the companies, but not for myself. I always made a way. I've never struggled or what have you. But it limited myself because I stopped growing within me. And my dream was to be an attorney. I always wanted to be an attorney, but that went by the wayside. And so now I have other things and other passions, but living in that stigma with my parents, and you guys are saying it, and it's like, how dare they? When I get off this call, I'm calling them and I'm saying, how dare you? How dare you guys put those limits on me? Because now I'm seeing it, and I'm not, and I'm talking to my kids, everything I'm doing now, I'm reaching out to my kids to change the same stigma I put on them from my parents, I put on my kids. And so now that I'm stepping outside, all my kids are going to learn what I'm learning right now, right in the moment. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And what's happening, ladies, and when I was telling you all, there's a reason why you're here, because you're ambitious. You want something more for yourself. You wouldn't opt in to do this if you didn't want that. And most of us are very ambitious and super talented and have a whole lot of vision. And what happens is we're living in our zone of excellence at work, and our companies are benefiting from it, right? Because we are great at we're just great at things. We just do a lot of things really, really well. All of us. I know most of you that we're just excellent at things, right? But they don't care about you, right? You're dispensable. That you'd be gone tomorrow and they wouldn't even care, right? They just hire somebody else, right? And you're like, well, they don't even care about me. I didn't get an award. I mean, like, even when I left my job, they didn't have no going away. Some people even forgot I was leaving. They were like, oh, you are leaving today. Oh, okay. We didn't have no food, no balloons, no flowers. And that just was a confirmation for me. I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's why I'm leaving this place. So, understand that they don't care about you, right? They don't care about you. So that's why you got to start caring about yourself and your own dream, and putting all that talent and all that skill that they take credit for into your own vision. Like, what if you work, and this is how I get on my clients sometimes. I'm like, they'll tell me, I don't have time, Chandra. I work 12 hours. What if you worked 8 to 10 hours, right? And you put in bare minimum for that company. You just did the bare minimum. You could, if you wanted to, but sometimes we go above and beyond because we're worried about what they're going to say or what they're going to think, right? We want to excel. We want to do our best. What if we put 10 to 12 hours a day into our business, right? What if we work that hard, that we work for these companies into our own ideas, into our own business, right? And you have to be able to get to a point in your head to finally make that decision that that's what you're going to do. And a lot of it is the mental work, the mental understanding, to be able to be like, yeah, I'm never going to be valued like I want to be valued here. So let me go build and put that time into my dream. What did Mia say? I had to text my 27-year-old daughter. The whole idea of mind culture is very important that I teach her. So, and I just want to share, yes, Mia, exactly. What I want to share is that the other day I was talking to my son, and he seen I was a little upset about something, and he said, Mom, you're wonderful. I love you. Everything I've learned that's great has been from you. How to treat women, how to be successful. He said that. He said, how to be successful. And when he said that, I was like, he's watching. Our kids are watching us. Our kids are watching us. Like, I don't sit him in front of me every day, but he sees. He sees how hard I work. He sees the work that I'm doing. He sees the women that come in and out of my home, because a lot of clients come into my home right now because of COVID. He sees the work. So just know our kids are watching us, right? So we have to change that. We have to change the culture. If we want our kids to be entrepreneurs and be successful and go after their dreams, we have to show them. We can't just instill it in their heads. Yesenia said, Chandra, I think many of us need the fake it till you make it mind concept, because we all have fear of taking the leap. I know I am. I think I don't understand the first part. I think many of us need the fake it till you make it and mind concept. Well, also, yeah. I kind of get it. You mean like we got to just pretend a little bit until it becomes habit, right? Or just, like act like a millionaire even though I don't feel like it tomorrow. In that way, yeah. I think that would help, right? Because we got to practice though. And before you know it, you will be a millionaire and making millionaire decisions. But we do. And borrow the confidence that I say to my clients, borrow my confidence, right? Borrow it from your circle sometimes to really make those decisions. Erica's just a great connector. She wants to connect with everybody on social media. So you guys get your name, start making friends on social media.
Well, because we all can identify, like,
Yes.
every time somebody speaks, I'm like, oh my God, yes, I feel exactly like that. Like today, oh God, I can't recall who was just talking about, like, she's not going to give more of herself than necessary to her job. My husband was standing here today because he's off this entire week, and I've been working 14, 16-hour days. And I'm just like, this is some bullshit and it's not worth it. I'm not getting paid like I should. And it took everything out of me not to quit. Like, I was just going to be like, you know what, F this, I'm out, and figure it out. But I was like, okay, let me be rational because I have 3 kids in college and just, life. I got to pay my bills and I got to eat. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do these long, like, I'm working as I'm here right now with you guys. Yeah. I deserve to have my own life. And, the VP and CEO, I'm sure, are right now with their families enjoying their off time. And I'm over here slaving away. Like, it's so, I just felt that. I'm like, you know what? Enough is enough. This is, Chandra, I have a lot of other things inside of me that I could be giving this energy to.
Right, exactly. And I just want to share with some of the people that don't know you, Erica, if you don't mind. Erica has been somebody that has been following Powerhouse and me for a while before she hit the okay, I'm in button, the last cohort. And she's somebody that I just could see is super talented online. Some of you, I'll chase you or I'll come after you and say, come on, let's do it because I know what you have inside of you. Right. And she did. And I seen her helping other people and giving all her talents to other people's businesses. And she's brilliant. Right. And now she has a podcast of her own. Right. She has a podcast of her own and she's sharing the story of self-love and trauma and whatnot and be able to really share her voice and really get her healing out to people. So it's growth. It's growth. And I know that, like we talked yesterday, Erica had a call, and she knows that there's another level to this, right? She started her podcast, finally, something that's hers, right? And it's her ideas, it's her vision. She picks the guests. She, markets it the way she wants to market it. And then now she's like, what is this going to turn into? But that she's growing, right? She wants more. She wants more. And I think that if you develop that and put that time that you normally, those hundreds of hours that you're putting into that company, if you just took a fraction of that time that you put into that company into putting into your business, into your ideas, your other ideas, and trusting your gut on your ideas, because if it's in your gut, if it's there, I'm telling you, usually, and based on my own experience, every gut idea that was there, that I was scared to do, that I was the most scared is a word. I don't know, I made it up today. most scared to do was a gut idea, like it sounded like too big. It sounded like Powerhouse was that to me, everybody. Powerhouse was just a thought. Like, I'm like, what if I did this that helped women, like do all these things? And I was like, oh no. But it was that gut idea, and I took action on it. And the only reason why I took action, because I had a coach that kicked me and made me do it.
It's Melody.
Oh.
Hi.
Hey,
everybody.
Melody. Yay.
I've been absorbing and just listening and want to just speak to those who are, just to echo what you guys were saying about giving up all your skills. I am that cliche. I was at a job, just about got to my 20-year anniversary. Actually, it was the day before my 20th anniversary, and they let me go. And the reason they let me go was because I would have been grandfathered in for benefits. Now, let me tell you, you talk about, you think you've given your heart and you're irreplaceable. It took 4 people to replace the job that I was doing. And they were happy to replace me with those 4 people to not have to pay me what I felt like I deserved. Because we do feel like we deserve it. We put the extra hours in, like whomever was saying, you know, CEO is chilling with their family right now, and you're the one pulling the 14, 16, 20, not getting credit for the project. All of that is real. It's true. I was working for a Fortune 500 company, liked my job, thought I was, you know, a part of the team. You are a number, a number. And until you take that energy and put it towards your legacy that you build for your family, for your children, and you're absolutely right, your kids see it. When I shifted, so my thing is yoga and healing in that way. And oldest person in the teacher's training, trying to learn it and all that. And I remember my daughter saying, wow, Mom, you just went for it. Like, you're not scared?
Right.
Heck yeah, I was scared, you know, but I didn't tell her that. I was like, of course, honey, I got this. And, you know, you just move, you've got to move past your own fear. And I'm really grateful for this, for being able to see it a different way. I've had a very successful business, but I had a partner. I was blessed to have a equally yoked partner in the business. And she and I, when we ended it, we just decided it was a good time to end it. But when you're doing it on your own, you're making all the decisions on your own, you know, it's
a little scary.
See, it is, and I see the benefit of coaches and support, because then you feel some support when you make that decision.
Because we can get an analysis paralysis, right? And not make a decision and trying to figure it out, and then we just get stuck. Well, and I know with me, I get stuck all the time and have to call my coach, and she'll be like, Chandra, just do it. Be quiet. Just do it. Put the phone down, right? Get off Zoom. When we're done, go and do that thing that I told you, right? And sometimes, even though we already know we should do it, right? Sometimes we just need a kick in the butt to do it. I understand. We just need that, right? We need that accountability. It's more accountability. That's what you pay for when you get coaching, is accountability, right? Because we all really know what we're supposed to do, right? We all know that, but it's just about doing it. It's just about, like, somebody saying, okay, tomorrow by Wednesday at 3 p.m., you got to make that post, or you got to get that business license, or you got to do that thing, right? It's just accountability that you pay for. So we're going over time, but I want to say hello to Rosalia. You know, I'm not going to let you go without saying anything.
Hi, Chandra.
Hi. Can you
I've
tell
just been
us
taking lots of notes
and how you're doing?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Any insight? Anything that you'd like to say?
Yes, something that's been sticking with me is the whole separating myself from, negative feedback, negative people, and it has a lot to do with my family. I feel like I've been feeling real guilty lately from separating myself from them, but I feel like they can put me in a bad place to where I put myself in a rut. And that's what I'm trying to break out of now. Obviously, why I looked for you, found you. And I'm really excited to see where the rest of the classes go. I am a little shy, so.
Oh, it's okay. I'll take care
of that. And being fearful, I feel like I said, I feel like the negativity and the negative feedback that I get from my family makes me that way. And like I said, that's something that I'm really, really wanting to break out of. My daughter's watching me, and I see her get shy and fearful too. Yeah. And I just don't want that for her.
Right. Good. And our kids could really give us that energy and the oomph to do it, because they're the most important things to us at the end of the day, right? So we're going to do it
for her. If I don't do it for myself, I have to do it for her.
Right. Exactly. We won't, as mothers and women, we won't do it for ourselves. So we must do it for our kids. We must do it for our kids to see that.
We have to say, I love me too. We have to say, I love me too.
Yes, exactly. We have to do it for ourselves at the end of the day, because if we are not good, right? Nobody's good. If we're not good, nobody around us is going to be okay. So we have to do that for ourselves. And a side note, Erica's podcast is called I Love Me Too. You can find on Apple, right? Where else? Spotify?
All major platforms.
All major podcast platforms. You can find Erica's podcast. Please go check it out. Anybody else have anything? This is a lot. This is heavy stuff. This is heavy stuff. I know it takes a lot of energy from me, but I hope everybody got something out of it. Do you mind if I take a selfie of all of us? If you guys just say, hey, to the screen and say hello. I'm going to tell you. Hold on, Mommy. I'm going to give you the countdown. And if you could take yourself off screen if you want to. If not, you don't have to. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. A mental constitution. All right, ladies, thank you so much. Anybody have any questions? Tomorrow we're talking about observational cycle, your thoughts, your actions, power of suggestion. So how our actions and the things we do come from our mind, right? So, and how we can control that, right? And taking action on all our business ideas and everything, all the things that we have to do to really accomplish our goals in our business. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Chandra.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. And
my neck hurts from saying yes.
What?
My neck hurts from saying yes.
Oh, but us agreeing with each other because we all relate to all of this stuff. So I love this. I love this energy. You guys all came with some good energy and good feedback, so I appreciate it. If you have any other side questions or feedback for me that you'd like to talk to me privately on, please message me because I'm always open to feedback. Like I said, this is pilot, so we're just working it out and working out kinks. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. I hope you got something from it, and I hope it helped you take action. Just this first day helps you take action on something when it comes to your business. Okay? All right, ladies, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right? Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. You're welcome.